Hey guys, welcome to my tutorial on how I did this bust down real part look with the lace wig that I applied a couple days ago, I think. If you look on my channel, you should see a video that I have where I first got the lace and I applied it and I did my whole thing with it. And at the end, I kind of forgot to tell you guys that with this lace, you're actually able to part it any way, well, any section that you like in the front of your head, as far as like up to a certain extent. Oh gosh, I need to get myself together. Anywho, so I decided to do a bust down the middle part. That's kind of like my thing whenever I would get like hairstyles and stuff. So I wanted to go about doing this look today. Now, one thing I normally don't do is sleep with the hair. I do like to take it out at night, but it was one of those nights where I just did not feel like going through the whole process of carefully taking off the wig, because you always want to make sure that you don't rip it off. You want to take the steps to properly taking it off so you don't rip out any hair. And last night I was just so tired and did not feel like doing it that I just threw a bonnet on, and the bonnet did kind of like go all over the place, you know, which caused my hair to get a bit tangled up, hence to why I don't like wearing my wigs, my non-human wigs, to sleep, and sometimes not even the human ones to sleep, because I feel like I get the same outcome, especially since it always comes off my head, the scarf, whatever it is. So pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm moussing down the hair first. I'm not going to be doing too much talking today, guys. I'm going to let the video kind of like, you know, show you what I'm doing. I don't want to over talk sometimes to where you're not really seeing what I'm doing. But all I did was get some mousse. You can use pretty much any good hold mousse, and put a small amount, enough for both sides of the head at the top, and kind of lay it down and comb it through. Then come around with that good old freeze spray. I love that spray, by the way, and kind of like dry it down with your blow dryer. I like to always keep mine at medium high, and then kind of comb it through again. But you always want to make sure that it's not all the way dry. That way you're also able to kind of comb through it, but dry enough for you to put heat on top of it. As you can see what I'm doing here with the curling iron, I'm just kind of using it to press out the top, to kind of show the part a lot more, because since this wig is not plucked, and honestly I don't know if I plan on plucking it. Normally I would pluck my wigs, but I don't know if I will. I probably will, probably won't, not sure. But because I didn't, I'm kind of laying down the front flat so I can open up the hair a little bit more. That way I can add a little bit more, how should I say this, more of a real part look once I apply the makeup to it. So that's what I'm pretty much doing, is getting it ready to do that. And I mean, I still love this wig. I mean, despite the fact that I almost ruined it by sleeping on it and doing all kind of ninja moves in my sleep, I still love it. It's a good quality. So right now, as you're seeing, I'm pretty much getting ready to do the front of my hair, which is my traditional little hump in the front. I still can't get what it's called. I don't know. I'm just gonna call it hump, whatever. So my hump's in the front. I like to start that off normally by spraying it. I add a little bit more mousse to make it a little bit more easier. It lays down a bit better. And then applying the heat, the curling iron underneath it to kind of give it that look. And I pretty much do the same thing on the other side to kind of get the same look, obviously. Be careful with that curling iron, especially since it's at the front of your hair. If you do try to do this, especially with the hair not being human, this is not synthetic, you know, kind of like how you have some of those synthetics that are almost like plastic. Okay, so this is not one of them. This is kind of like one of those heat resistant ones, so you're fine. I normally cut the heat, the max on this is 50. I normally cut it to like 35, 40 when I'm doing this, and it doesn't do anything, and it doesn't burn out the hair. So I think you guys should be fine if it's like a fiber or fiber synthetic, or like a heat tolerant kind of wig. My edges, I didn't really do nothing to them. They were getting a bit flaky because I did add the gel. I normally don't add the gel, but I added when I did my last video, just to kind of give you guys an idea on how you, if you want a permanent look, not so much of a permanent, but like a more look that will last a couple of days. And sometimes when you're not using glue especially, you get like this white flaky look, it's an easy fix. All you have to do is just apply some mousse and more of that spray, and it gets it right out the way. If you've done this already, you don't want to keep on building it up. So all I would say is to get like a washcloth and kind of like excuse me guys, oh, I felt like I stopped breathing for a second. You kind of want to take that washcloth and wet it with some hot water, squeeze it out, and then kind of dap the top of the hair to kind of get rid of it. Once I have the front of my hair done and I have the top laying how I want it, I go in with my concealer. I always like to use my concealer first. It gives it like a more of a real look, in a sense for me. So I like to go in with my concealer first before I go in with the foundation. And guys, do not panic. I know you're probably like, it's on the hair and it looks obvious. I know. It's just like kind of like when you do your eyebrows, you know, before you put that concealer to shape them up, they look kind of crazy or not the way that you want it. In a sense, this is kind of like how this part is. So once I have that color on there, the foundation and all that, I kind of spray it down to hold it intact. That way it's not kind of moving around when it comes for the next step that I'm going to do. So I keep a whole lot of my old eyeliners that I no longer use anymore. I have like a bag full of them. When they start to fade out, I kind of put them away. I like to use these for like if I want to full out my edges, because when my edges go through those trials of when they kind of like disappear and me waiting for them to reappear, I have to kind of do my own edges sometimes. And even when it comes to the laces, I like to, you know, use it for that as well, as you can see. What I'm doing is kind of like painting over the brown marks, which is why I told you guys, don't worry, don't panic if it's all over the place and smothered. We'll fix that. And because I sprayed it down after, it allows me to kind of mark it with that liner without having to worry about, you know, the makeup moving around. And I mean, guys, it's easy. I love this way. I'm so happy I found this technique. It makes it look so natural, a lot better than how the part looked before. So this is also for the people that don't like to pluck or don't know how to pluck, because one thing I know for sure, plucking a wig is already a bit, you know, hard if you're not, you know, used to it. But even harder if it's a non-human wig, because it at times get a bit tangly. So this is another hack that you can do, and I loved it. Right now, all I'm pretty much doing is just kind of like bringing the hair back to life, because obviously it looked a bit dry. So I went ahead and I just used some mousse. You can use any kind of curly mousse. This one is like a curly scrunchy mousse kind of thing, and it helps bring the hair right back to life. And I feel like a new person just by, you know, just by applying it. I mean, compared to how it looked before, I love it. It looks, you know, hydrated. It looks nice and shiny. It looks natural. So, I mean, I got the look I was looking for. If this is something you guys definitely want to try, I highly recommend it. I love this style. I love my natural looking part, as you guys can see. It's very simple, very easy. If need to, I can do a quick breakdown tutorial for even slower one for beginners. If you guys found this channel helpful, or this video helpful, I'm sorry, subscribe or like. But again, thank you guys for joining me on another video.